All right, so let's go ahead and get to some more equations. Let's go ahead and write one on the board. I got a couple that I don't think we covered yesterday out of 9.5. I can't remember what I left off on, so I'm just going to do this one. And if we did it or if we were in the middle of it, then that's great. Can y'all see the whiteboard? Skype people?
I can.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
All right, if we do tangent squared x plus tangent squared, or tangent of x minus 2, did we do that one, or were we in the middle of it? Okay. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the last one we did was sine tangent equals sine, right? All right, so try this one. So you could actually do complete the square on this one. You could try reverse FOIL. I'm not going to say use quadratic formula because that way you have to depend on the calculator. So I'm going to do complete the square. Tangent squared x plus tangent of x plus blank is equal to 2 plus blank. What is the coefficient here? The coefficient is 1. 1 over 2 is 1/2. 1/2 squared is what? 1/4. So that's going to give me shortcut number 1 based on that plus there. So that's going to be tangent of x plus 1/2 quantity squared is equal to 8/4 plus 1/4. So the tangent plus 1/2 quantity squared is equal to 9/4. So our vertex is what? Vertex is negative 1/2 and negative 9/4, which is 3/2. I'm not going to worry too much about that because that's not what we're really interested in. What we're interested in is the x-intercept for the solution. So take the square root of both sides. That's going to be tangent of tangent x plus 1/2 is equal to positive or negative 3/2. Bring this over. Minus 1/2. So tangent of x is equal to positive or negative 3 minus 1/2. The tangent of x is equal to, what's 3 minus 1? 2/2 is 1. And negative 3 minus 1 is what? Negative 4, Hubert. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Now, of course, you'd have to go through and look and see where the tan is equal to 1. Go back to your special angles. Tangent, Oscar had a hunk of apple. That would be 45-degree angle, would it not? Be 45 degrees. All students take what? All students take calculus. So that tangent of equals 1, that's these two quadrants. So that would be what? 45 degrees, right? So 45 degrees here. What about down here? What is it? Well, 45 plus 180 is 225. Somebody help me out. And then it's negative. The tangent is negative where? Let's see, here and here. So negative 2, you got to figure out where it's negative 2. And you actually have to punch that in the calculator. Just find out where the tangent is equal to 2. And it's going to be some weird, yeah, they did it in radians in the book. So you can do it with angles. Just do the inverse tangent is equal to 2. And you don't have to worry about the negative because the negative tells you that it's in the first and third quadrant, or second and fourth quadrant. I'm not really worried about that. All I'm worried about is that you get 1 negative 2. What is the inverse tangent of 2? Did y'all get anything? Take the inverse tangent of 2 in your calculator and tell me what you get. Okay, so 64 degrees, 63.5 degrees. So add that to 90 degrees. Add that to 90. What is it? 154 is good enough. So 45 degrees, 155. I'm going to say 155. 225, and subtract that from 360. What do you get? Subtract the 65 or whatever degrees.
206.
No, it shouldn't be.
Wait, 360 minus 63.
Yeah.
296.
296.
25.
That's 297, whatever. If you needed the angles, there's your 4 angles. Okay. Now, do reverse FOIL. I'm going to erase it and do reverse FOIL. Tangent square root of x plus tangent of x minus 2 is equal to 0. Another reason I'm going over these twice or doing both ways is I got 2 trick students from Pendleton campus asking me to go over this and put it on YouTube. So, because they have no clue what's going on. So I'm showing reverse FOIL as well as quadratic, or not quadratic, complete and square. So what goes here? What goes in the first of the, what goes here? Tan. And then 1, 2, because you read from left to right. This is a positive. That means the biggest number of 1 or 2 has to be positive. So what's bigger, 1 or 2? And this means what? Unlike, so unlike, if this is positive, this is negative. So the tangent of x is equal to 0, and tan plus 2 is equal to 0. So the tan of x, I'm sorry, yeah. You got a tan of x is equal to 0, and you've got, no, 1, dork. Sorry, forgot the 1. Tan minus 1 is equal to 0, and tan plus 2 is equal to 0. So tan of x is equal to what? 1. And tan of x is equal to what? Negative 2. And that's the same thing we got a while ago. All you need to be able to do is find out where those angles are. Capiche? And you just have to remember Oscar had, this is what you have to remember, Oscar had a hump of apple. And then this is what I do in my head. I do that in my head, and then I circle that, and then I picture that, which is, I'm sorry. I picture this, I picture this, and I picture this. And then I say, which one has something that's going to give you a 1? And this is a 1, and this is square root of 3, and this is a fast backwards, this is square root of 3 and 1. So which one? That's what I think in my brain when I'm doing these things. Now the reason I didn't do my brain here, I didn't think in my head here, is because you don't have a special angle that has -2. So it's an off angle. That's what I call an off angle. All right, next problem. And we're going to do a few of these because you got 9.5 and 9.6 is going to make up probably 40% of your test. So how about the cotangent of x, parentheses, cotangent of x plus 3 is equal to 1. All right, give you a few minutes to work on that one. Mitchell, you still there, Miss Mitchell? Darn it. See, she's in a conference call. Over and bring her back in. Okay, is everybody still good? I hope everybody's good.
Yeah. Everything's okay.
Okay, somebody tell me how many seasons, Hemlock.
There's 2.
There's 2 seasons?
No, wait. 3 seasons.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. There's 2 or 3. It's done now. There's no more for now.
Oh, it's done?
Yeah, they like, I'm not from here. I'm not spoiled for it, but it's done. There's not going to be
Hmm. Huh?
the one with the world and the empire. Imperial.
I mean, I'm watching it because I went from Stranger Things to
I love
now.
Hemlock Grove. I love it, but I'm sad that there's no more. But
Yeah.
they finished it off pretty well.
Well, that's good. I'll have to watch it then.
I think there's 3 seasons. So.
Stranger Things, it starts
It comes
Friday.
out, yeah, it starts tomorrow. I'm excited.
Yep. I need to give that little girl some hair though. She looks all pitiful.
I liked there was no hair. I thought it was good.
There should be a law against girls with no hair. I'm sorry.
Now, are all the episodes of that going to come out in
I
one
hope
day,
she
or is it going to
does.
be like a weekly
Looked a
thing?
whole lot better with that wig on, even though it did look funky.
Hubert,
Kinda.
God, don't come near me.
I know. I don't have much of a choice. So. All right, so what do we do first?
Set equal to 0?
Not yet. Yeah, you suck.
I know.
What do you do first? Algebra.
Distribute.
What would you do first there? Huh?
Distribute.
Thank you. Whoever said it. Okay. So what are you going to do here?
Distribute.
I wanted everybody to say it, but y'all all suck, except for one or two people.
We're conserving energy.
Oh, is that what you're doing? Oh, okay. Conserving your intellect. Is that what you're doing?
Energy.
Oh, energy. So that's going to be cotangent squared x plus 3 cotangent x. Now we set equal to what? Well, you don't have to because I'm going to use complete the square. All right, now take off. Now that some of y'all has been staring at it for 5 minutes, now you can stare at it for another 2
Where
minutes.
I was like,
Always, remember, if you've got a set of parentheses in algebra, you can't do anything with it unless you bust up the block. You've got to bust it up, and that's the only way to bust it up is distribute the block. Now, you could have divided by cotangent on both sides. That would have caused a real cluster. That would have been whips and chains for those like that. Okay? So, what's half of 3? 3 halves. What's 3 halves squared? 9/4. Well. So that gives us shortcut number 1 based on this guy. So that's going to be cotangent cotangent of x plus 3/4, 3 halves, equals 4/4 be 13/4. Take the square root of both sides. Cotangent of x plus 3 halves is equal to square root of 13 over 2. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 16, 4, 3.5 is in the middle. So therefore 9 to 16 is 7, 3.5. Square root of 12.5 is right there. And we need square root of 13. I'm going to say 3.6. So cotangent of x is equal to positive or negative 3.6 minus 3 over 2. Now what's $3.60 minus $3? 60 cents, Hubert. Divide that by 2, you get 30 cents. Yes.
What did the 3 halves come from?
Square root of 9/4. Take square root of the first term, square root of the third term. And it comes from here too. You can just use that if you want to. Now if you owe somebody $3.60 and you owe somebody else $3, how much you owe both of them? $6.60. What's $6.60 divided by 2? So these are going to be 2 off angles. So, yep. -3. Yeah, they did square root of 13. They didn't do, they just left it square root of 13. But square root of 13 ain't worth squat if you're trying to plot something. So we got the cotangent of x is equal to 0.3. So somebody, let's go ahead and finish it. The cotangent of x is equal to 0.3. Somebody take, let's see, what is 0.3? That's 0.3 over what? 1. So the tangent of x is equal to what? 1 over what? 0.3. So you can do that. And then this is cotangent of x is equal to 3.3 over 1. So the tangent of x is equal to 1 over 3.3. So somebody give me the angle, just round it to the nearest angle here. 73 degrees. And what about here? I'm sorry, what?
17.
17 degrees? All right, so both of them are positive. Let's go to our handy dandy. All students take calculus. So they're in what? They're in the 1 and 3. So you can add them up. 17 and 73 are in here. 17 degrees, 73 degrees. And then down here would be, let's see, this one would be 180 plus 73, which is 2 what?
253.
253. And then 180 plus 17 is what?
190.
And there's your 4 angles.
Somebody should check some on those angles.
Well, y'all get the point.
We're supposed to do
These
inverse
people ain't gonna
right?
talk. They don't talk. These people just sit here like bumps on walls. They don't talk.
I
Did y'all
talk all the
check angles?
time.
No.
Yes.
Mr. McClure.
Like I
did the
said.
tangent on calculus, that's what you're asking.
What?
I did the tangent on calculus, that's what
Did you get 73 and
I
17?
did.
Okay, well, could you say that?
I didn't know what you meant.
Oh, whatever.
Mr. McClure.
All right, now do it by reverse FOA.
Hello.
Yeah, last night I got to the drug dealers beating up the wolf man. That's what I got to last night.
You're in season
2.
then? I like season 2 because it turns into
Yeah. I'm a wolf man person. I'm
I
not
also
a vampire person.
really like who they cast for the wolf. He's really cute.
I wouldn't know.
Well, not like
I know.
that, but like he just
He's
like,
grungy.
he plays it well. And
He's
Mr.
grungy.
McClure.
He's like what you'd imagine a gypsy world to be like. So.
I didn't realize it was
Mr. McClure.
I'm sorry, what?
I didn't realize we were talking about the show.
Yeah.
Cast the director.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm dealing with drug dealer problems. I'm sorry.
Mr. McClure. Hello?
Yeah, I'm not a vampire
Hubert.
fan.
Yeah, I've always been.
Hubert, I have a question.
Now, if I had to pick one, and it was like a werewolf where you don't get to control the bone, you have to turn on a full moon, all that, I'd go for that. But like the one where, like in Hemlock Grove, where he can turn at will, but like he sort of slowly going.
Yeah, but that's bad.
I'd
That's
still take that.
yeah,
I'd
the
still
bad
take
moon.
it.
Yeah, he's starting to turn on the bad moon. Yeah, he is grungy. All I can think of when I see him is take a bath, shave, and brush your teeth. Because all he does is drink beer and smoke cigarettes. So you know his breath is rank.
Probably smells like wet dog.
Yeah, that's another thing.
They turn into like actual.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
they're pretty.
I love the transformation scenes because he's always like just eating like the bits of human pieces that he shred himself out of. Like, oh,
That is funny.
I love it. And then like he reached his hand out of like.
Yeah, that was the first time I seen that.
It was awesome.
That was good.
And those dudes just thought they were like tripping balls.
Yeah, now they come
But,
beat him
yeah,
up.
but he sold them some shit that doesn't even.
All it is eye drops. That's funny.
But when you can turn into a wolf, you can convince people like
Yep.
balls.
What is it? Cotangent of x, parentheses, cotangent of x plus 3 or something?
Yep.
Okay, cotangent of x plus 3 is equal to 1.
Yep.
So that'd be cotangent,
Woohoo!
cotangent squared x plus 3 cotangent x minus 1 is equal to 0. And that's
Mr.
what
McClure.
is equal to 0. And then reverse FOIL. It's going to be hard to do this one because 1
Hubert.
and 1 will not give you what? 3.
Can you hear me?
So is this one factorable? No. This one's prime. And when you see prime, you have to divert to 2 other reasons. One I don't use, and one I use all the time. One is the quadratic formula, which I don't use. And complete the square is the one you're going to see in calculus the most. So that's what happens when you have a prime factor, a prime equation.
I was sitting here trying to figure out how to do reverse form.
Yeah, you can't.
I do where to go.
I think that was it. Let me check. Yeah.
You're right.
Nope. Let me check to make sure.
Hello.
We have all the way from 8.5 to 9.6 in this one.
I'm not going to worry about 8.1
Miss
and
Simmons, can you hear
8.2
me?
because that's in your calculator. That's the calculator question. You might have 1 or 2 questions out of there.
I mean, 8.5.
Miss Simmons, can you hear me?
Whatever, yeah, 8.5, 8.6. And then
Hello?
80% of this test is going to come from 9.1, 9.2, 9.4, 9.5, and 9.6.
Okay, and then 3 and 4. Are just-
I'm going to go over that probably next week. And then we'll take 30 minutes, 30, 45 minutes to go over that. Huh?
Which one are we on right now?
Right now we're finishing 9.5. This is the last question on 9.5. Now, you will have to use an identity on this one. So what I did, since it's so much work to Google trig identities, because it's 2 words, and then print, I did this because I know you got one. But I'll let you look at this because I have to give you this in class test when I give y'all in class test. I have to give you one of these. Golly, you printed it out too. Wow.
You got
Where's
it
yours?
now.
Oh, yeah, I'll work. You already got it? Okay. Oh, you got it? Okay.
One football from all out.
Oh, yeah.
I feel I got mine.
Well, I have to give it to you for the test. No, you can't use that. I have to give you this.
You have to give me that?
I'm telling you, this
That's
is
stupid, like.
Half the stuff
It doesn't
I'm-
have anything.
half the stuff I'm told to do is stupid. Let me tell you. I don't
Like
do.
the
I don't do half the stuff they tell me to do.
What's some of the stuff that's.
I don't even know. Oh, I have to. One of the things I have to do is if you're absent, I have to go in and send you an email and say, "Are you okay?" The other thing I have to do, as they tell me to do, is I have to watch all y'all on your grades, and then if you slip below a C or a D average, I'm supposed to go on Starfish and alert your advisor that Miss Lovin has dropped below a C average. I'm really worried about her. And then I'm supposed to hold your hand when you go to the restroom.
Are you supposed to send people notifications of like, hey, I'm really proud of what you're doing in this class, keep it up? Because I keep getting this from some of my other instructors, and I'm like, just leave me alone.
No, you ain't
Like,
seeing
I
me
know.
doing that. You ain't seeing me doing that because it would be just 2 emails and I'd get, Hubert, this person says you're being a pervert on them. And I'm like, you told us to do this. I don't know.
I would feel like you'd be more like sending people messages saying,
You suck.
You suck, you're a failure, you just drop out of this class.
Yeah, I would. All right, so y'all ready for this one? Y'all ready?
All right. Not yet.
No, but you're marking all of them in whiteboard.
I've got the wrong one. Here we go. Tangent of x plus 3, I'm sorry, square root of 3, is equal to the secant of x. Now, before you start this one, you will have to use an identity. But the first step is not identity. The first step is algebra. The first step is not identity. First step is algebra. And I will say this, you got to do it both sides.
Are we dividing by 10?
What?
Are we dividing by 10 then?
Nope.
So taking the sequence and say 70 by 0?
No, that's a good, both of those are good, but that's not what you're doing.
Are we moving the 10 over to the sequence?
You're not moving anything.
Then what are we doing this up?
Square both sides. When you square both sides, you open yourself and you write a note out here. You need to highlight it. Squaring both sides lends to what identities? Look in your identity worksheet. Which one? Which three? Huh?
Is it the Pythagorean?
Pythagorean, just PA. Pythagorean. Now, you don't use it all the time, but what would you have done if you would use those three suggestions? You would have ran into what? A dead end.
Mm-hmm.
So if you was to run into a dead end, always remember squaring both sides. Now, why do I say not take the square root of both sides? Well, give me an identity from the first set of identities that I taught you that has a square root symbol in it. It doesn't. There's not one. The only one you have that has a square root is double angle identities down toward the bottom. So that wouldn't work.
Is that also half angle?
Yeah, that's what I meant, half angle. It's the opposite of double angle. But also, two things. Flag. And this is highlight. All right, one. Well, I haven't had any training. We had these things for 2 years, but we don't need any training.
I think they expected you to have learned that.
Well, some things you can't learn. You have to have training.
We have a guest.
Hmm.
Hi. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You got your mic turned down or the volume turned down for your online people. Jim's trying to talk to you, ask you a question downstairs, and there's a bunch of people trying to get in touch with you.
Stupid thing.
Sorry. I just thought
No, the speaker turns itself off. I'm sorry, y'all. Stupid. And you know what they have this for? The hearing impaired. The that blame thing cuts off. Okay, I'll fix it. Thank you.
You didn't fail in your classes so far?
Yeah, I'm a failure. Yeah, I have to turn it. I have to put it on 100 every once in a while so it won't cut off. All right, where y'all got a question?
Well, there was a question on the last one, but also Miss Fuller had to leave because apparently her car cut off.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, who's got the question on the last one?
Well, I can't remember who it was, but I was just trying to get your attention.
All right, well, somebody tell me. Does anybody have a question? Unmute your mic. Was that the last one we did? I think that was the last one we did, right?
Yeah, and I don't have a question.
Okay, who has a question? Okay. I guess nobody had a question.
I don't remember who it was.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, there's the questions everybody had. I'm sorry, this stupid microphone this speaker cuts itself off. I don't have, it's stupid. Anyway, all right. Y'all just keep one mic open and make sounds every now and then.
Okay.
Just hit your desk or something so that stupid thing don't cut off. All right, so next thing. Where am I at? Let's see. Where was I? There we go. All right. So the flag that I was telling you about. One, when you do the flag, one, you're setting yourself up for the Pythagorean identities. When you square both sides, you're setting yourself up for the Pythagorean identities. Two, what do you have on the left-hand side? Shortcut number 1. Now, do you remember in yesterday's class, the other day, I said the last 2 classes that y'all are starting to see a little bit of the format of calculus where you have 10 to 20% new, and then you fall back on 90 to 80% algebra. Okay? This is another thing that you're going to start seeing in calculus. That right there. All right? The shortcuts, when you finish college, that's when you don't have to worry about the shortcuts anymore, especially if you're in a science or engineering. If you're in an underwater firefighting degree, then yeah, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're in a science degree or engineering degree, you will never get away from these.
So,
You better learn.
like zoology, I'm going to be using.
Well, not in biology or anything, but I'm talking about in all your maths going up to zoology. Don't be smart, man. All right.
It's a science show.
Be quiet. All right. If you don't learn these, you're not going to get the zoology degree. All right. So we got tangent. This is shortcut number 1 because it's a plus. So that's tangent squared plus 2 square root of 3 tangent of x plus, what's the square root of 3 squared? 3.
Square root of 3 squared would be 3. Oh wait, never mind. I see what you're doing. My bad. Ignore me. I'm
Okay.
being stupid.
I'm
You
ignoring.
did it.
I'm ignoring.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You're so
You're welcome.
kind.
I don't have any problem ignoring students.
I've noticed.
Yeah, I ignored half the class a while ago, thanks to my technology. Is equal to secant squared x. All right, now play around with it and see if you can get anything to line up. Or go ahead and change this into what? I did it several times. I guess you just got to hit it. Whatever.
You can change it into tan square x.
Good. One plus tangent squared x. Oh my gosh, what happens to the tangents?
The 2 tangent square x is cancel each other.
Yep. I did change that red, but evidently I'm not doing it right. And 3 minus 1 is what?
Wait, 3 minus 1.
Well, you can take it over. Whatever you decide to do. Let's just rewrite it. Oh, good. It did 2 colors that time. So black and red, that makes what? Burgundy? 2 square root of 3 tan of x. And I'm just going to bring 3 over. Is equal to what?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Divide by 2 square root of 3. Divide by 2 square root of 3. And I would go ahead and try to get that, because you may see something, you know, it may be a special angle. I have no idea. So here we go. So the tan of x is equal to, multiply by the square root of 3, that'd be negative 2 square root of 3 over 2 times 3 is what? 6. So that's going to be square root of 3 over 3. I don't think we have a square root of 3 over 3. But we'll go ahead and write tangent of x is equal to negative square root of 3 over 3.
For tangent square root of 3 over 3, we do have one answer.
We do?
Oh, 3 over 3, yeah. Square root of 3 over 3. We do have 10.
Okay, well, which one is it?
For negative, it would be.
No, I'm not worried about the negative, just which one is the special angle?
It's 30 degrees. Is the square root of 3 over 3.
Okay. I'm having to think, but I'm right, and then that's not good. Anyway, all students take calculus, it's negative, so that takes out those two. So that means you've got an angle here, and you've got an angle here.
150 and.
So 150 and what?
330.
330. All right, somebody check 5 pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. That should be the same answers. So 150 degrees. What's wrong with this thing is it needs to be calibrated, and you can't calibrate these like you could the other ones. And had training on me, so I don't know how to calibrate it.
Do you want some cheese with that one?
No. I'm just trying to prove a point.
Here, excuses.
Yep. It's Bush's, white women, and Trump's fault. That-
Just white women?
yeah. That's what Clinton, that's what. Y'all, do y'all even watch the news?
No, because it's all bullshit.
Well, it is. Except for a couple of outlets, yeah, you're right, it is. Yeah, Hillary blames white women because they were forced to vote for Trump because their white husbands forced them to vote for Trump.
That's hilarious because.
I ain't
my
never met a
husband-
white woman that I could tell what to do.
My mom's husband wanted her to vote for Clinton and she voted Trump.
But no, not according to Hillary.
So why'd you say Bush's white
Huh?
women?
There's a comma in between the two. There's a comma between Bush and white women. Bush is comma white women and.
Yeah,
It's not
Bush's fault.
It's not Bush and white women.
Yes, Bush's
Oh,
fault.
like, okay.
It's always Bush's fault, and white women, and Russia, and now Kaepernick is blaming Trump because he lost his job and then it failed.
I didn't see where he got the book game thing.
Yeah, it's going to be called POS. That's what it's going to be called. Huh?
Who lost their NFL back?
Kaepernick.
No. I think it's
Why didn't
ironic
Peyton
that-
Manning lose his job? How many years was Peyton Manning in the NFL?
Peyton-
Why did he lose his job?
Because he wasn't
Because he was a good quarterback. There's a reason that you are a second backup quarterback.
He
Why?
didn't win any. Did they win like one game? Then?
I don't know.
Something like that.
I care less. National Football League, National Baseball League, and all the other ones can just go jump in the lake.
And his argument: did they fire the quarterback for the Browns?
I don't know.
Because they literally won one game last year.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go. Now we're in 9.6. Now, there's nothing new in 9.6. Only you got to use your identity sheet. So here we go. Cosine of 2x is equal to the cosine of x. Now this is one, remember that sheet that I had pulled up yesterday or the day before? And I told you that we can't solve this one because we don't have the identities yet? That's why. All right, this one you're going to use your double number identity. So look for the double number identity on your sheet. Now your yellow sheet doesn't have it, but just look over at your green sheet, well, so y'all don't have the green sheet.
Double number or double angle?
Double angle. It's the one that's got the 2A in front of it. Or is it? I don't know what double A is. Yeah. You can use that one. Anything that's got a 2A in front of it. I think that one does. 2A. Yeah. This says 2x. So if you want to change it to this, here. Cosine 2 theta is equal to cosine of theta. You can do that. But you got to do some algebra before you do it. And what do you think? Wait a minute, I didn't copy the problem down right, did I? Cosine of 2x. Yeah. No, you're not going to do. Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Make sure I copied this right. Cosine of 2x is equal to cosine. Yeah, use the double angle on the left-hand side. And rewrite it in terms of cosine. So on your double angle, I'm looking for it on here. There it is. See that 2 cosine squared minus 1? Remember, there's 2 things that you would like to see in these problems. What are they? The bag or shortcuts. So that comes out to 2 cosine squared minus 1. Right here. 2 cosine squared theta minus 1 is equal to cosine. Now you've got a problem like we just did. What are you going to do on both sides? Square both sides, you? Yes, because you want shortcut number 1 or 2 on the left-hand side. I'm going to highlight. How we doing, Skype people? Can y'all still talk?
We're doing good. Yeah,
Okay,
we're doing good. I just need to see the next step.
What is that called? Double angle? Double angle identity. Now, why didn't I change it? There's 3 forms of the cosine. Why didn't I change it to the tangent? Well, that would be pouring fuel on the what? Fire. That would be making it more difficult. So, now I take the square both sides, just like we did in the last problem we did. And now I have shortcut number what? Number 1, or number 2. So that would be 4 cosine to the 4th theta minus 2 times 2 cosine theta times 1. No, it's this freaking thing. I'm about ready to. What?
Is that 2 cosine?
Yeah, A, B, cosine squared, sorry. Plus 1 is equal to cosine squared theta. Now, as you can see, that adds a lot. Now, you could finish it with this, but the reason I'm not is because that's going further. That's going further into the other direction. Name something else you can do besides squaring both sides. Okay. This is going a long way around. You can do it, that's going a long way around. There's an easier way to do it. What else can you do? We did it a few minutes ago. Not reverse. We do it later after this step. But there's something we can do with that cosine on the right-hand side. What can we do? No, it's not identity because it's just cosine. It's not cosine squared. That will be Pythagorean identity.
I'm just shooting.
You're doing everything but what I need.
At least I'm trying. Right?
What?
Factor?
No, we can't factor because there's nothing in common.
Can you go to 2?
I said, what can we do to this side?
Set it equal to 0.
Set it equal to 0. Good.
Yeah, fine.
So set equal to 0 would be a shorter route because the other one gave us too many what? Gave us too many exponents. All right? Too many exponents, does that give us identities? No. So if you go a certain route and you start to see that there's a bunch of junk, then you need to say, wait a minute, I need to do something else. So that's going to give us 2 cosine squared theta minus cosine theta is equal, or minus 1, can't even read this thing, is equal to 0. Now you've got completing the square, or reverse FOIL. I'm going to do completing the square, of course, just to piss y'all off. Because there's always somebody, I was lazy and didn't learn how to do completing the square, and you use it all the time. Well, you're going to fail calculus too. So, what? I know. So, 2 cosine squared theta minus cosine theta plus blank is equal to 1 plus blank. I've got to factor out of 2 because I can't do completing the square with a is equal to 2. So I have to factor out of 2. And that's going to give me cosine squared theta minus 1/2 cosine theta plus blank is equal to 1 plus 2 times blank. And remember, when you factor out something, what's the rule? Okay, we just have to hit 2 or 3 times there. Whatever you, yeah, that's it. Hit it harder and it works. All right, whatever you factor out, you have to multiply by that. Now we can complete the square. So 1/2 divided by 2, then square it. And when you divide by a fraction, you multiply by the what? 1/2 times 1/2 and square it. And 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. 1/4 squared is what? 1/16. I didn't hear you right. And now that's going to give us 2 times cosine theta minus 1/4 quantity squared equals, well, that'll take that out to 8. And 8/8 plus 1/8 is what? 9/8. Divide by 2 on both sides. Divide by 2 over 1. Multiply by 1 over 2. And that's going to give us cosine theta minus 1/4 quantity squared is equal to 9/8 times 1/2 is what? 9/16. Take the square root of both sides. Cosine theta minus 1/4 is equal to positive or negative 3 over 4. Cosine of theta is equal to positive or negative 3 plus 1 over 4. What's 3 plus 1? 4 over 4. Cosine of theta is equal to 1. Negative 3 plus 1 is what? Negative 2, which is negative 1/2. Cosine of theta is equal to negative 1/2. So, all students all students take calculus. All right, so let's take the first one. The cosine is positive, so that means these two. When is the cosine? Oscar had a hump, so that would be adjacent over hypotenuse. I don't think there is one, is there? No. So you have to go to the quartiles, the quartic, which is 0, 90, 180, 270, 360, which is cosine is the x coordinate. So that would be 1, positive 1, that would be 0 and 2 pi, right? Somebody check me.
There's a cosine that's 1/2, but you're right.
Yeah. There's a 1 with the cortex.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, now, cosine is negative. Cosine is negative can be in these two quadrants. All right, so negative 1/2, that's 30 degrees, isn't it? Somebody check me. 1/2, not negative, just 1/2. Is cosine 1/2 30?
No, it's
60, sorry.
Yeah.
60. So that means here it's what?
it's 1/2.
60 plus 90 is what? Or is it 60? Yeah.
Wait, yeah, that's your
120.
120.
So 120
And then 240.
and then 240. So 0, 360, 0 or 360, whichever one you want to write. 0 degrees or 360 and 120 and 240.
Yeah, 3 minutes before they told me that.
I know, so we'll call it a day there. We have started 9.6, so you should be working on 9.1, 9.2, 9.5, and you can actually start on 9.6 because all you're going to see is the identities. There's nothing new. You just need to learn how to use the identities, okay? What do you think, Skype people? Y'all good?
I'm
Yeah,
good.
for the most part.
All right, we'll see y'all
I'm good.
whenever I see y'all again.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.